Hi there, it's Ruby. Before we dive into this episode, a quick shout out to Riverside, which we are now using to record all of the podcasts and do a lot of other editing as well. Check out my link in the description if you are thinking about starting a podcast or a YouTube channel. It's really cool. Also, heads up, I didn't speak much in this one. We had some tech snags early on. Honestly, I just wanted to let the conversation flow. Let's get into it. Roll the intro.
Tough questions, honest answers. Oh, the messy truth. Your perspectives. Let's begin. Welcome to Kaleidoscope.
Anything.
Countdown for it. The countdown is that
recording. We're recording, but it
Now
doesn't mean.
recording. I
But it
want
doesn't
this
mean
on the
anything.
record. I want this on the record. We're making an AI that allows you to talk to dolphins in their language. So you can say like, "Go get me the ball," or "Come over here," and then they'll listen to you.
I swear to God, how many like cartoonish sitcoms have done that bit? You could find one.
Think of the
There's
implication.
one somewhere.
You could talk. If we can do it with dolphins, you could like start talking to your cat or your dog.
Yep.
You want to know what they're saying, or like put a little EEG cap on your baby, and you can tell if it's pooped its pants or it's really hungry or it doesn't like the light.
It'll just say I'm hungry all the time. Yeah.
That's only a few years away because it's already been proof of concept's already been shown. They just got to make it applicable to the modern human.
well, I can't wait.
Everything's a token out there. You can't even sell these little pink flamingos. Oh, no, not candy. Yeah.
It's true. Right, Ruby, how do you want to do this? How are we going to start this? We need intros, right?
Yeah.
Intros.
We've done this so many times.
Hi, Ryan. I'm Ruby.
Hi,
It's
Ruby.
nice to meet you.
Pleasure. First time on a podcast.
Welcome. I hope this goes well. I can sense a few problems right now with Riverside, which is kind of annoying. But
Ruby, can you turn up your mic? You're a little low in the volume.
Can I turn up my mic?
I can't hear you that well.
What's the 0%?
Yeah, I can do that. How's that?
Is that like ping?
Could be.
What do you mean?
Now you're at 64, 65. Luigi, you're going up.
Yeah, so Riverside records locally on your computer and then uploads it. So there will be 3 separate recordings for this podcast.
Okay, cool.
I'm just letting it happen. I don't know.
But it says mine is 0% uploaded, which makes me super nervous.
Mine's 65, baby.
You went from 66 to 65, so you like uploaded.
Oh, yeah. It's
No,
going
no,
down.
because it's a stream, right? It's like a buffer.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's growing and trying to upload at the same time.
Exactly.
Oh,
I want-
99.
I want Ruby's sound up. It's bothering me. How can I
Want my
turn it up
sound
on my
even
computer?
higher? Okay, hold on. I know what the problem is. It's because I was recording other things earlier. Let me just go to. I just need to change my microphone.
Make it happen.
Yeah, it's
Make
happening.
it happen. Ryan, how's
I
life?
really-
It's gonna be tumultuous. I got 4 more weeks till my lease is up, and then I gotta move. I'm gonna drive all the way across the country. That's California.
And then what are you going to do?
I'm gonna strap everything I own, including my motorcycle, onto my truck, drive it to St. Louis, put it in storage, drive the rest of the way to California, see fam, and probably come over to like Asia, maybe. I'm thinking East Timor, Papua New Guinea. Those are my 2 last pieces of Southeast Asia that I haven't hit.
More than me.
Probably gonna avoid the cannibals.
Still only in China.
Why? Like it's right there. It's right
I
there.
know.
Go to Myanmar. Myanmar is like friendly.
You clearly missed the first podcast because I'm pretty sure I said I don't travel, or maybe I'm wrong.
Oh
But,
yeah, like most of the
I know you
podcast
don't
was
travel.
about how you don't travel.
That's right. How I don't
Is it-
travel and spend money.
Is the
terrible.
sound better now?
Ryan knows these things. You're still a little low.
I'm still a. You know what? I'm loud here, so it's your
Okay, fine.
speakers. Yeah.
But Ryan's really loud on mine.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how to fix that right now.
All right.
I can't do it
No
live,
problem.
unfortunately. But I will try to speak louder.
I'll just have to listen real Real close.
Close like. You know?
That's right. That's right.
Close like.
So, Ryan, the way that Kaleidoscope works is we each bring like an idea or perspective or whatever to the podcast and share that. And then we dig into that for a little while. And then once we're done dissecting that topic long enough, we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah.
I haven't prepared mine at all. And it seems like you're full of ideas. So let's go with yours.
Did neither of you guys prepare?
And no, so sorry. I'm kind of rushing into this. I'm Ruby. I'm South African. I work with Luigi, and I've been living in China for 10 years. And before that, I was in Thailand for 3. Yeah.
13 years in Asia, huh?
Exactly.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm originally from California, but moved to Korea and China for 3.5 years. I've been to just hit 1/3 of the countries in the world. I'm trying to hit them all. Currently going back to college, getting my degree in biomedical engineering.
That's very cool.
What? I thought you were doing neuroscience.
I'm just finished my last class for bachelor's in neuroscience, but there's a broader field that's being discovered right now, like neuroscience applied to non-neural cells, like your skin cells or plant cells. It's the electricity that all life speaks.
Well, at least I brought us an interesting guest, because my goodness.
Bioelectricity.
Yeah, that is super.
All right.
I don't even know if I'm going to be able to keep up with whatever you say.
That's okay. Hey, that's all right. Good for content. Okay, my turn. I'm Luigi, and my life is like a Carly Rae Jepsen love song. Okay, let's get started.
Very succinct. I love it. Is that your business card? YouTube link to that?
Every week it's something different.
Oh, nice.
Next week I'll tell them a little bit of something about myself.
Slowly unpeeling the onion.
Hold on, your life is a love song for what exactly?
Mm-hmm. Got them coming. What was that?
What is your life song? Your life a love song for?
My life is like a Carly Rae Jepsen love song.
Carly Rae Jepsen. I don't even know who Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oh right, we had this conversation.
Yeah, I'm
you don't know who Carly Rae Jepsen is.
Yeah. Oh no, I do. I do. Kiss me. That song.
No, that's Sixpence None the Richer. I'm showing my age. As the oldest, I'm showing my age. I am just ironically the most hip, the most cool. Except when it comes to memes, I wish. When it comes to memes,
bullshit.
I think
you
Ryan's
just research hip things before the podcast and then come on and say
that. Hey, that's okay. Listen, I make jokes for the fans.
Stupid people. I've been out of the meme game for a while. Ever since I changed the phone. I miss those days. Had a whole arsenal, one for everything. I mean, the stickers and WeChat, those are never going away. Those are beautiful. Wish you could still just share them. Remember those group chats in WeChat used to have where everyone just put their best stickers down?
Yeah, but now I use something called Trenor Keyboard. And you just search what you want and it's there immediately. Yeah. Get it? It's cool.
But it's only allowable.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Ryan, you got to go first, I guess. I really want to save mine for the end.
Okay, I'll go next. I'll think of something.
All right. Basically what I've been studying in the last 2 years is kind of mind-blowing. And what we're learning a new language, basically. So Earth used to be just covered in single cellular life, nothing complex, just oceans of bacteria and protists. They would talk to each other with voltages, like pluses and minuses in the
All right, yeah.
Like that's been a communication pattern across time. So the fact that neurons use electricity for our brains is just borrowing from that ability, that language that already exists. So we're learning to speak that primordial language that like all cells speak. So you can do some amazing things with it, right? So you could give some oncogenes, these cancer-causing genes, to tadpoles, and it's 100% going to give them a tumor. But if you apply voltages to the cells, they stay normal and they don't turn to cancer. You can even turn cancerous tissue back into normal tissue, get it back in line. So start communicating, right? You can regrow limbs, right? You might have just lost an arm and you think it's just going to scar over. But if you apply the right voltages and keep feeding it, keep it wet, you can actually regrow a limb. it's telling the cells, like we're speaking directly to the cells, hey, heal, keep healing, by just saying that word. But we know other words, like we know the word for make an eye, and we can just tell that on any part of the body, and as it develops, it'll develop an eye that works. We've done that on tadpoles and frogs.
Wait a minute. It's been done.
Yes. They basically can sculpt, especially planaria worms. They can sculpt them with as many heads, as many figures as you want. How many limbs? Where do you want them? How many eyes?
Right. Okay.
It's like if you watch a being, an organism develop, you can see the voltage distribution. Like these parts are more negative, that part's more positive, and look at the shapes. And like that's a pattern. And once you know the pattern, you can apply that anywhere. So we know the pattern that looks like a smile. We can apply that somewhere else and it would start forming a mouth. We can do that with eyes, and they showed the eyes still work. They were testing with the eyes. For planaria worms, planaria is an amazing flatworm that if you cut it at all, it'll regrow that part, even its brain. It has a pretty complex brain.
Okay.
Cut off its tail, it'll regrow its tail. Interestingly, if you teach it something and cut off its head and it regrows a head, it'll still know what you taught it. So it's like, where's the memory stored? You can even cut it into 10 pieces. They'll all grow into 10 worms with brains, and they all remember that.
Okay.
You can even watch it develop, take the voltage pattern of what a head looks like in development and teach it to its tail, and it'll stay doing tail things until you cut it off and a head will regrow.
Okay, what?
Wait,
yeah.
So, okay. But how do we talk to it? We electrocute it? You gotta dumb this down for me.
It's subtler. You can change voltages in many ways. So voltage is any difference in positive and negative. You could do sodium, chlorides. So you can put extra membrane pumps in the membrane to change the ratio of sodium inside, sodium outside. So that'll make the voltage a little bit different.
Okay, you got to break this. You got to break this down for us. You got to make it really understandable. I'm hearing voltage. I think electricity.
So
explain to me like I'm level, 5.
Starting at the broadest level, we're learning the language of electricity, bioelectricity, that all life speaks.
Bioelectricity. That's the difference, because I know like living things have electricity in their body, but it's very, very like weak, let's say.
But like bacteria will rush to the site of a wound because the wound is displaying a really high voltage gradient, as there's fluid, conductive fluid at the surface.
So like bacteria can sense that.
Yeah, they go to that and then rush into your body. They're like, oh, opening.
Gross. All right, that makes sense.
Everything speaks this, and we're just learning how to use it, because you can use it to guide morphology. If somebody has a birth defect, you can shock it just right so that a normal pattern develops, and then all the cells will go to the right location, no defect.
Could I use it? How can I say this? Can I use voltage to grow my hair back?
It's complex.
There we go. What is it?
I mean, there's recent, like, I finally understand why infrared, the LED lights actually help stimulate growth.
Oh yeah, we talked about this, you and I, years ago. Those weird helmets.
Red light.
The red lights. In the mitochondria, the electron transport chain is what we all use for our formation of ATP. That gives us the energy in our body. That's what our mitochondria do, right?
Yeah.
The fourth protein, the last one, the one that brings the electrons and gives them to oxygen. That's why you need oxygen. That one is stimulated by that infrared light, and it becomes more efficient. So like when you're shining it on there, everything's just working more efficiently.
I had a friend. Okay. I have a friend. I still have a friend. About 2 years ago, he slipped in the shower and he essentially like dislocated his spine, and he had to go stay in the hospital. Obviously they put like bolts in his head, and he was like pinned down to a bed for a month. And one of the things they did for him, and one thing he did when he left the hospital and had to continue his treatment, was he was using a red light to like heal himself. Was that the same kind of thing?
Like where? On the side of it?
Yeah, on the site. I guess like on his head, wherever his spine dislocated.
Yeah, it does penetrate. It penetrates pretty deep. Over centimeters.
What he told me was, or what his wife told me was that, the red light heals. I guess the hospital told him to.
Yeah, it's got scientific.
I'm wondering if that's the same idea.
Yeah. Yeah, just mitochondria are. It's kind of interesting how much of we both utilize mitochondria and kind of are beholden to them. They, there's circadian rhythm. You go wake and sleep, wake and sleep. But there's actually two rhythms, and their synchrony is what gives you sleep. There's the mitochondrial, like once you use it so throughout the day, they start getting damaged by the oxygen byproducts, peroxides, and so they need time to relax and heal. That's sleep. And if you don't give them that, they
Yeah.
start dying.
Okay.
So
Before we go any further, wait a minute. Explain. Okay, Ruby, go. You have a question.
It sounds a lot like metachlorines to me. So just separate Star Wars from me for a second here.
Well, wait a minute.
From what you're studying, because you sound like a Jedi to me.
I've wondered that, honestly.
Well, no, he sounds... Well, first you have to define... Okay, listen. Okay, some people don't know what mitochondria is.
Yeah, I have no idea.
How can you tell them what mitochondria is?
Don't you ever? No.
I know what mitochondria is. And I know mitochondria.
They are mind-blowing little guys. They have their own DNA, but they live inside us. You get them from your mother. You get none of them from your father.
I thought they were inherited from that one woman we all came from, Eve, right? A long, long, long time ago.
Mitochondrial Eve, yeah. So you can trace that. We were once down to a group of about 2,000 females at one point. But there was a lot of male diversity at the time, so it appears to be a really small bottleneck, probably like upwards of 5,000 people total.
They're like parasites. Listen, wait. I'm going to tell you. The reason I know, this is how I learned about mitochondria. In 1999, video game company Square created an RPG. Maybe you two have heard of it, called Parasite Eve.
Yeah.
And the protagonist was a female cop, and she had special powers, and it came from her mitochondria. Exactly. That's how I know about it. That's how I learned.
They're kind of superheroes. They're cousins. All the close relatives of mitochondria in the wild are all parasites. And they cause sleep. So I believe mitochondria are part of the reason we sleep, if not the reason.
They put you to sleep.
Right.
So they give
like us energy in the day.
Yeah.
I always thought serotonin and oxytocin are part of the happy sleep.
They are part of the cycle. Serotonin gets converted into... It's not coming.
Oh, don't worry, no pressure. Listen, if mitochondria are responsible for your sleep, mine are working overtime because I am very sleepy, especially during the middle of the day.
Got to pump them up. Support the mitochondria. Really interesting. Thinking about the cells that we inherit, because all right, I'll give you a story. There was a female that, 65, reporting to the emergency room with a problem with her liver, and they found that she had a really long-standing disease, like a degenerative disease that should have killed her. Presented in her 30s, 40s. But somehow she had a mostly functioning liver, and they were sampling the functioning part, and they saw it was male. It was a male liver.
Wait a minute. How do you prescribe gender to a liver, or let's say sexuality to a liver?
Y chromosomes.
Okay.
She was
there you go. That's it.
Person.
Cracked it.
Yes. So it was from her son 30 years ago, who her baby recognized that she had that degenerative disease and sent stem cells to her liver.
No way.
That's how it works. There's a symbiosis that's established during pregnancy.
That's like weird supernatural stuff.
It happens. It happens often. It happens very often, almost 100% of the time. There will be some sharing of cells with some of the mother cells. Only mother DNA will go on and live in you and me and everyone as little colonies. A couple cells growing. Yeah. Maybe it's part of your skin, or maybe it's part of your kidney, or I don't know, wherever those cells ended up. But also some of your cells will be shared with your mother. And the interesting part is this will also continue down if your mother has future children. Some of your cells might end up in them.
Okay, so that means, I have to count. I have 3 older sisters. So because they came before me, in my mom, that means some of their stuff's in me. But my stuff's not in them. That sucks. Because I'm the smartest.
You could have been that bad. They didn't need it.
That's where I got my neuroses from. My sisters and their crazy mitochondria, mitochondrial DNA. That's what I think.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
It could be there. Could be there. Especially if it's from another father. No, you don't get mitochondria from the father.
You never know.
I guess that makes sense because maybe it's just not in sperm cells. Maybe it comes from just the gestation period, right?
I shouldn't say these things.
Yeah, but there's a key moment right before conception where, as the sperm are swimming up, they should be killing off all their mitochondria. They should enter this egg with 0 mitochondria.
How do they do that?
It's just an interesting process. It's fascinating. Like, it's their last swim. They like overtax the mitochondria and just like,
okay,
one last go.
So so sperm have a whole bunch of mitochondria in them.
I mean, they're cells. Yeah, all cells have them. But before conception, they must kill them all, or it will lead to problems. It's been shown, developmental problems.
How do scientists figure this out? How do they look so far into a sperm that they're like, oh, there's mitochondria?
And
how do they see it? How do they see it swimming and going, oh, it's killing all the mitochondria? It sounds like a conspiracy.
These get little buggers. They're interesting. They're doing their own thing, right? They got their own DNA. They're swimming around. Some of them can leave the cell. Just imagine that. There's free swimming. Go swim to another cell.
Yeah.
What's up with that? What are they doing?
Well, I had no idea. I would never even thought a sperm has mitochondria in it. I guess that makes sense, though. It's got to come from somewhere.
Not bacteria, but
no, not bacteria. Mitochondria. But wait, bacteria doesn't have mitochondria.
No. Only eukaryotes, plants, fungi, and animals. They have mitochondria.
So living creatures, like potentially cognizant creatures.
You think that's where you draw the line? Eukaryotes could be cognizant.
Don't ask me.
Sperm
I have no idea. I'm just taking wild guesses here.
You can teach sperm to solve a maze,
right?
And they'll remember it, so you can put them back in, and they'll keep swimming that direction. If single cells can have memories, where do we draw the line on cognizant?
How do you define a memory, though?
Okay, here's one. Male deer have antlers that they shed once at the beginning of midwinter.
Okay, I know what you mean.
If you were to, don't do it, carve your name into an antler, and you shed it that winter, it'll grow back next year, and that name will still be on that antler. Where's that memory stored?
Okay, you carve it, but you don't cut it off.
No, you just let it scar.
Oh, well, that makes sense to me. It's like a scar then.
Yeah, but it shed that antler. It's now bald, basically no antlers. The new antlers will grow back, and there's your name.
Their antlers fall off. Okay.
It's like It's like getting a prosthetic leg with all the exact same scars again, or like if you lost your leg and through stem cells we were able to grow.
Wait a minute, Ruby. You've gone mute. You've muted. We can't hear you.
I hear. You don't hear?
Yeah,
I hear you.
It's not.
You've both gone silent. Oh no.
You're okay. Anyway, Ryan. Basically, it's like you lose a leg, and then
everybody's gotta stop. We gotta stop. Here, you gotta cut it out. No. Can I make another drink?
Yeah. Let's take a break and try and figure this out quickly. I'm gonna stop the recording.
I gotta use that time to make something to drink. Oh well.
Didn't you go to get a new drink? Anyway, I was talking about, like, let's say hypothetically, you lose your limb, and then through like stem cells we can grow you a new limb. But we take the stem cells from elsewhere on your body, like your shoulder. I'm sure that, I don't know if we can get some, but then they grow you a new leg. And then that leg has a scar on it that you got when you were young. And that doesn't make any sense. Like, where does the memory of that scar come from, right? That's how I understand your question.
Why wouldn't it just reset?
Yeah, well, the question is, like, what is the memory of perfection? Like, what the direction you should be developing? That's a memory. Like, okay, it gets really weird. Like, it's very top down, right? It's not in the individual cell. It's a pattern that's developed by all the cells in unison. So, for example, vessels, like it's kind of like blood vessels, but lymph for your immune system. We were looking at them in newts, like, salamander newts.
Yeah.
They're normally, let's say, 8 cells in diameter.
Okay.
And that's the vessel.
All right.
Right? 8 cells.
Yeah.
We can increase the amount of DNA that's in them, like double the amount of genes, and they'll get twice as big, the cells. So if we do that, now we see there's only 4 cells in a diameter of the vessels. And we doubled it and doubled it again till it was 1 cell was the size of the vessel. It can't really talk to its neighbors and make a vessel anymore. So what happens? It develops this new structure inside of it that's its own vessel.
Okay.
And that's the same diameter. So instead of cells coordinating with each other to make a tube, it now expresses some new genes that makes a tube within it and solves the problem of this top-down directive, right? Whatever this memory is, this pattern that must exist. It must be a vessel and of this diameter. The cells will find a way to do it, but it might be a whole new way depending on the conditions.
Right. Wow. Okay. I don't like that. It sounds very bureaucratic. It sounds very capitalist. Dangerous.
This is where
conservatives might get hold of this. Might use it to justify their kind of behaviors.
No spoilers, I'm telling
you. I get that. Like, I think the issue with like memory and stuff, it's really the semantics. We call it memory in like as a way to just understand the science, but I think that's also kind of problematic and confuses people by saying like cells have a memory. Ooh, that's the problem, and that confuses people.
Yeah,
it's kind of mystical.
You also remember like an episode of your life. You might remember a scene, and that's like a combination of a lot of different things.
And it's not a semantic problem, though. I think it's just it's our limited understanding of a word, or people's limited comprehension of a specific word.
Okay. Well,
say a tree, and I really hope you're imagining a palm tree exactly, but I just said tree. It's that kind of thing. We say memory. What memory are we talking about?
Well, I just think of it as like, well, I guess I would default to saying like it's just DNA. Like DNA follows a kind of pattern, right?
Okay.
Protocol for doing something.
Those planaria worms.
Is it?
If we shock them, if we don't like, not really thinking of a pattern, we just kind of perturb them from their normal voltages, like move everything over slightly while they're developing. They often will develop to look like one of the species that they're cousins with. So it'd be kind of like us starting to look more ape-like if we applied the right voltages. It's shifting the voltage a little, but we still have human DNA. That's the thing. Like, we make the planaria worm look like its cousins, like with different head shapes and body types, just by kind of pushing the voltages a little way from their normal. And the more we push, the further down the tree of life it seems to go. It's really weird. The DNA is still the same. It's still the planaria's DNA.
Yeah.
You could sample it and say it's that worm, but it looks like that worm. It's very interesting.
Yeah. But is it not because, scientists are just like messing with it and kind of like hurting it?
I mean,
damaging it, let's say.
Yeah. I mean, the ethics aside, though, we're showing that if you change the voltage, the DNA responds to the voltage. The genes that get expressed like their cousin species, even if some of them are slightly different.
I can't wrap my head around this. I'm too dumb.
It just kind of shows that DNA is kind of the tools and electricity is the software.
Okay. Electricity is the software. Holy shit. Okay.
For the vessel.
Is the DNA the hardware?
Kind of, yeah. But also all the structure within.
I'm not nerdy enough for this. This is not my nerd toolhouse.
Nerding out.
I don't know these hard sciences. They're too abstract to me.
Molecules, man. Microtubules, man.
Yeah, dude.
All right, here's the trickiest part.
Okay.
So the cells in your trachea, and most mammals, some reptiles, have these things called cilia. Like the outside of the cells have little hair-like projections.
I know what cilia is. Yeah.
Yeah, they can push
I'm
down.
smart. Okay.
Yeah. Cilia seems to be a common term. I love it. I'm glad there's public awareness of cilia.
Okay.
That sometimes the hair is pushed down to like help you swallow, or if there's like smoke in your lungs, they'll push up to help get ash out and into your digestive tract to clean it. They all coordinate together, right? And so the voltage, you can watch the voltage sweep, and they all sweep. They're all like, yeah, let's go kind of thing. But if you take some of those cells out and put them in a petri dish, like maybe a single cell or a clump of 3 cells, they will start using the cilia as like little legs and just start swimming around. And they can solve mazes. They'll go hunt for food. They'll reproduce.
Wait, so the cilia, okay. The cilia, so cells take the cilia, or the cilia have their own cells?
They're just like the hair on the outside, but they're kind of like tentacles, so they can use it to do things.
Oh, they do their own thing. Yeah. Okay.
They start acting like independent creatures. They'll solve a maze. If you put a bunch of them together, like a clumps of 3, 2s, and 1s, like the 3s will start gathering 1s together and making clumps of 3s. And this extends to bigger ones. Like if you have like clumps of 15, the little clumps of 15 will start gathering 1s and making clumps of 15.
Okay.
They're kind of like, they're independent creatures. And so it's been shown that when animals die, like humans, some of our cells just go on living as their own thing. They're just like, all right, I'm out of here. That didn't work out. Time to go off into the environment. Let's go.
Right. That's wild.
Yeah.
So it's wild, but it's also disturbing, because as human beings, we think we're this like one being, and we don't really pay any attention. We know we have cells, but we think they're just like, they're just like mindless things. They're just things. I don't even know if they're just things. They exist in you to like little vessels, let's say. But now they have their own
agency.
They have their own agency. That's wild.
Yeah, it is wild, right? And the only reason that they're coordinating together and making a own self, like one unified self, is because they're sharing the same voltage. If you cut it off, you start getting cancer or stem cells.
Wait, so up to this point, I've assumed that different voltages within your body result in different like things. But now you're saying the only reason we have a body is because everything has the same voltage?
It's like the same. It's like when you hear that it's like when you hear hippies say like we're on the same frequency and all that.
Yeah.
It's in there. It's in there. So different tissues have different
I find that disconcerting, because that means they're kind of right.
It just means that like everything that I thought I understood about biology is just nope.
Yeah.
Everything is a lie.
I don't know.
Everything.
Now they don't listen. All those kids at Burning Man. I don't know, man. I gotta believe them now.
So
they don't seem so silly.
Putting EEG caps on people at concerts, like raves and just general concerts. Brain rhythms tend to start synchronizing. Among participants, so they are on the same vibe.
Do you think that's because of something like the music playing and like the rhythm makes that happen?
Yeah. Doesn't that sound awesome? Like we're all on the same frequency because that's what we're listening to.
Well, yeah. Okay. I mean, it makes sense, but I feel like it's something like when we say everyone's brain aligns, it's because it's something more like, I don't know, cosmic. But to me, like people are like working together to do something, but really what it is they're all responding to something.
I think that
makes sense.
Mitochondria are the higher power. Like, there's no reason. Honestly, if you're spiritual, there's no reason to say like, oh, they're just a cell.
I wish. Please, mitochondria, take care of me. Tell me how to make money.
We have found
I want to believe that. Its name is Mitochondria Eve.
But that's like any technology that is any technology that is sufficiently advanced seems like magic, right?
That's what we said in class yesterday. Yeah, we're going over that, talking about God.
Okay. Tell us more.
Number one podcast that was. Am I allowed to plug? It's the number one podcast on Spotify.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
it's not Joe Rogan. He fell off.
Yeah.
Telepathy
I'm not
tapes.
even.
They talk about non-speaking autistic children and how developing without the ability to speak or kind of, so like most of the autistic spectrum has some problem in between senses, like sensations and consolidation or observing that consolidation. So there's some cutoff in the sensory pathways. So for some reason, being cut off from your natural senses, your development, during development, gives you the ability to seek out those sensorial feelings in other people. So a lot of these children are able to sense what their mothers are feeling or seeing or thinking. And so they tested this in like closed settings, mother looking away from the child can't see her, and they'd show her numbers and he would choose numbers. He would write the exact number. They could do this in 4 digits, and like a lot of children can do this. It seems to be a common thing. It's almost a problem because like the parents can't even hide gifts from their child because the child knows where they put them.
That explains how I could find all my Christmas gifts.
It is unbelievable.
That's a little Stephen King-y for me. I don't know if I believe that.
I know.
I agree.
But
are you saying psychics are real?
Diving into the research of some of these Ivy League school, like not Ivy League, Cornell, Princeton's Ivy League, right? Yeah.
I think so.
University of Virginia and Duke. They've all looked into this and found a statistically significant showing of psi-like abilities in the general population, 60 times the 95% confidence interval. So 95% chance we're wrong, we're 60 times past that. We're into 99.999% chance we're not wrong. And it seems to follow a bell-shaped curve, like everyone's ability. Everything in life seems to follow a nice statistical bell-shaped curve. That seems to be the ability to perform on these tests seems to be something innate in all humans, but to different degrees of attunement or development along that path.
All right. Okay.
So reading minds.
What about all those other experiments where, people try and see if psychics really are psychics, and it's a total grift?
Yeah, they're always proving just to be like bullshitters.
Yeah.
So there's the scientific replicable experiments, and then there's these TV shows that have been put on, and then you start to wonder like why would this need to be hidden from the public? And then it kind of comes down to like, do you want everyone knowing that they can read minds and that it's a teachable thing? Like you can train it. You can get better at it.
I think okay. When you say that, I think it's you can train yourself to be psychic, but that's just you can train yourself to grift. I want to believe psychics are real, because when I was young, I went to a lot of psychics and I loved it. I wanted the answers, but some psychics were even like, you know what, Luigi, you're psychic. Like even my sisters would be like, I went to a psychic and they told me you're psychic, and I'm like, sure, dude, okay, great.
Well,
see, they're
I
right.
don't know.
Everyone's ability.
I want to believe something like that's cool. I want to believe in cool stuff.
So what other?
I want to believe Solomon was a man who existed, and he, consulted with all these demons and had all these sigils, and they were real. I want to believe that.
People are like, are you religious? No, I'm not. Why not? Well, because I don't believe it, but I sure as hell want to believe that there's a ghost and a Wendigo and werewolves and shit in the world. Yes.
I want to believe them. Yeah.
Have you heard of the miracle of the sun that occurred in Portugal towards the end of World War I? Miracle of the sun?
No.
Lay it on us.
See, I think it was 1915, so I'm just going to go with that. April 1915.
Okay.
These two sisters and their friend are out picking flowers in the field, and this shining lady, descends from the clouds. She's like
okay. I think I have heard of this. Okay, tell me more.
It's a metallic lady, but also shimmering with a radiant light, and she comes down and bids the children return in a month, but in the meantime, do penance, pray every day, the whole drill.
Yeah.
And they're little children. They're like 7 years old, so they would do it when their parents did it. But for the next month, they really did it. And so 1 month later, when the two sisters are walking home, the lady again descended, saying she was really pleased with what they did. She will return every month until a happy year from now, in which she will perform a miracle so that all may believe, is what she said. And every month, it started to become a spectacle. That was May. So June, July, people from the town started gathering, and they wouldn't see the lady, but they would see the clouds part, and like a kind of hear a whirring sound, and then
okay.
When the girls said that the lady was departing, there would be like the spiral of mist that would go up into the air. So that it started to become kind of a spectacle. So in August, the police just put the girls in jail, and apparently they didn't contact the lady.
As they should.
But September, she was back, and this time it was a crowd of like 10,000 people.
Right.
So it's starting to gain a lot of traction. When the half year mark, I guess. Was it half year? I don't know. I knew it was supposed to be October is the last one.
Okay.
The lady, now the crowd has swelled to, estimates put it between 60 and 100,000 people, all surrounding these girls at the riverbed, lakeside.
Right.
Again, the same observables, the cloud, the parting, the lady talking to them for about two minutes. There was like news reporters, atheists here. They all witnessed this thing, the spiral of mist. And then everyone kind of, I mean, it's a huge crowd, right? So not everyone can really see that little mist happen. So everyone's just kind of grumpy. There's starting to become some unrest after the girls said, everyone said it's over. But suddenly there's a strong commotion, and everyone looks the other way. Begins noticing, collective consciousness. Look back. The sun had become, well, first of all, it had been overcast, but now it was completely clear day. And then the sun had turned this dark red you could just look right at it and it wouldn't burn your eyes. And then it started wobbling in the sky and then approaching Earth. So it got really big, and then it slowly receded. And this took a couple minutes. And everyone there said they saw it. Even the Pope in the Vatican garden said he saw it.
Wait a minute. He saw it all the way from the Vatican, and it happened in South America.
That's what he said. Oh, this happened in Portugal.
Portugal. Okay, well, I get. That makes sense. It's more believable because it's closer in Europe. I almost caught myself. Was it not something like there must be some kind of scientific explanation? It wasn't like a kind of eclipse. I guess no one knows. Listen, it sounds like science and conspiracy are converging. Exactly. Whoa! Did you just say it sounds like aliens?
It sounds like aliens.
Ruby, hold up. You just said like the magic word. You just said the keyword of the episode, aliens.
Our sponsors.
This is a point of contention for me and Ryan. And this is why I brought Ryan on.
Locked it? Okay, wait. Explain to me where do aliens, why is this a keyword?
Yeah, why do aliens? Yeah, that's a good question. Why do aliens? Exactly. Well, okay.
Yeah. Why?
Ryan always has,
Who believes in aliens?
News about aliens.
Okay. Ryan, you're for aliens.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's pretty obvious now if you just look at what's happening.
Luigi, you're against aliens.
I want to believe.
I've sent you pictures of actual aliens. I'll talk.
I believe in aliens.
We have full bodies, 100 of them, that you can do you can look at the full CT scan, every square millimeter of each slice.
Yeah.
You can look at the spectroscopic data. You can look at the DNA data. It's on the NIH website. You can just download that data, run the scripts like I did, see what genes are there. There's some human DNA, but a lot of it's not human DNA. It's weird.
Here's again. Like, what do they call those aliens that are half people, half alien? What do they call? They have names.
Hybrids.
Oh, are they called hybrids? Jeez. All right. I really overthought it. But no, let me check. There's got to be. Are they hybrids? I'm gonna look it up. And people. Wait. What's it called? What are the babies? What are the babies of aliens and people called? And the internet will have an answer for this because weirdos.
Urban Dictionary, for sure.
It's all part of the alien lore. Xenomorphs. Maybe no, that doesn't make sense.
I mean,
That's from the movie. Yeah. Never mind. Offspring of no. Now it's really hard to. Okay, space aliens are breeding with humans. Anchor baby. No.
It's in my head. Here, aliens.
What are the babies of space aliens and people called?
The babies of space aliens. What other kind of aliens do you have? There are only space aliens.
Well,
no,
I'm saying. Okay, I'm just trying to be specific for Google, but
wait, hold on.
In alien lore, there is like when aliens come down and breed with humans, are they called?
Don't bring me octopi.
Are they called hybrids? Maybe I should say that when aliens come.
Are from the movie where they were.
Yeah, they're from the movie.
Yeah, but so the fact that these mummies in Nazca, Peru, have
here we
DNA,
go, the mummies. Yeah.
The simpler hypothesis would be that they just evolved here first, right? So like dinosaurs had 50 million years. We've had 45 million years. So they had about the same amount of time we did to evolve intelligence. It could be. That would be the Silurian hypothesis, that life just got intelligent here twice. We're the monkeys on the roof, and they're the ones in the ocean.
Who would? Okay, so you're saying we all came from the Earth. But my question is, if we're monkeys, what intelligent being from outer space would come down and say, hey, I want to get it on with that monkey?
A bored one.
A kinky one.
I mean, when we raided Area 51, most of their comments were saying, I'm going to clap them alien cheeks, so it works both ways, right?
Yeah, all right, I mean, fair. People are weird.
I have the start the Enterprise on my arm, and Captain Kirk definitely.
Enterprise isn't aliens, though. Listen,
no. Captain Kirk definitely got busy with aliens.
Yes, but that's a greater metaphor for imperialism and like white savior kind of complex stuff.
Doesn't matter if you're not smart, like you are smart, is what I'm trying to say. Then he just got with aliens.
Mm-hmm. We could have a whole discussion on Star Trek, but
like, what about all these whistleblowers? First of all, it does appear
I get that
space is like Star Trek. We're just not part of the Federation yet.
Okay, wait. Before we go into this, hold on. Let me just make it official. My perspective for this episode, then, since we're not talking about mitochondria anymore, is aliens are real. The Fermi
alien mitochondrial DNA.
Fermi paradox.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
The Fermi paradox is a problem. Captain Kirk got with aliens. And, if I could get on the Star Trek Enterprise right now and go and explore another galaxy,
I mean, everybody would. That'd be fun.
But we can't.
Not everybody would.
We can now.
We can.
Yeah.
How?
We can.
So there's
no way.
So if you listen to the public hearings that occurred in front of Congress in the United States, you can hear these whistleblowers talk about ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles, where we back engineer the technology, take the engines and fit them onto our own little triangle guys, TR-3Bs.
Yeah.
And these things can just get around in seconds, just into space. Let's go that way. And like, if we have a fleet of those, which apparently we do, according to multiple sources, like there's over 34 right now. We have a fleet in space, so we are kind of doing things up there.
Do you think? Okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, because to me that sounds so far-fetched. And the only reason I could think that maybe it's remotely true and no one believes it is because if America did have these things and they reversed engineered the technology and created these things, they wouldn't want their enemies to know.
You
don't want Russia to know about it.
You're making an assumption that's incorrect. Sure, this crash retrieval program did start in America, but it's become an international black body program, right? So it doesn't report to even like the top star generals. They do their own thing, and they monitor the skies of all countries, trying to get to any crash first.
There's still crashes happening today.
Yeah,
spaceships are crashing every day.
You remember those New Jersey drones? Why? They never stopped. You can go on the subreddit. There's a subreddit. Oh, that's a good question. That's been a big question because they've crashed in the past. If you look up the 1897 Aurora, Texas had a crash, and you can see the original newspaper clipping where they talked about a traveler from another planet or something, outer space, and there's a
Yeah.
soft.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Apparently, we've been retrieving crash this for a while.
Now,
So
yeah. I mean, I
somebody can
hear.
clean that
I
up.
believe. I believe there's. I believe there's stuff, crash stuff that people have been retrieving. That to me is believable.
Before
But
the
what
1900s.
I believe that, like even a long time ago, if you look at, I don't know, what can I say, ancient texts, like you hear of things, situations, I don't know, scenarios, parts in history where people see things in the sky. Maybe they're they're obviously unidentified because they didn't know what they were. But I believe that phenomena happened. I just don't believe that. It's weird for me. Okay, like I say, I want to believe. But when you have all these like whistleblowers and talks in Congress of people saying like, "Oh, we've got aliens, man. Look, here's the corpse," and they show it, like the one in, where was it? I don't know. I forget the last one we fought about because we were arguing for years about it. Was it in South America? They showed these little mummies, and I was like, fake, totally fake. It was a hoax, and those guys have been proved to be hoaxsters.
I've been in contact with the actual professors. Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting the actual data. Like, I want to know the truth too. So I've been talking to them, getting the actual data. And so there were actually 3 types of mummies that they found in multiple tombs throughout the Atacama Desert. But the 3 types, basically, one of them, it seems like ritual. They're like ritual idols that are meant to look like the alien beings. And they're assembled out of animal skins, llama. But then there's actual 2 feet tall ones, and then there's 5.5 feet tall ones that look more like humans, and they all have 3 fingers and 3 toes. Some of them have eggs. Some of them have eggs, little 3-toed, 3-fingered beings inside the eggs. They have metal, like gold and silver, grafted to their bone. But if you look at the CT scans, you can see evidence of healing. So this must have happened while they were alive. And some of them have it on their wrists, some have it on their breastplate, some of them on their skulls.
Yeah,
they're definitely
that's believable.
At least 1,000 years old. By carbon 14.
That's believable.
It
believable, but not
right when the time the Nazca lines were drawn was about the average age of these mummies. So something was going on about 1,500 years ago. Like maybe they're like, "Hey, Columbus is going to kill you all in 1,000 years. Let's party right now, yeah."
No, something happened a long time ago, and what it was they took a bunch of people and they grafted a bunch of stuff to them. That's it. They're just people.
How do you graft something to someone's bone, though? I don't
know. Come on. I mean, metallurgy's existed for so long. How is it not believable? Come on. Like, how can we not?
I find it okay. Let me just be clear. I'm not on Ryan's side here. I don't think aliens are on Earth. I just think they're real, and they could be.
The isotopic ratios do suggest the metallurgic skills of the time. They're not super refined.
Yeah, it's like trying to heal people.
And I think that metallurgy was super refined, but I don't think that it would have been possible to graft molten metal onto someone's bone. Killing them.
Yeah, it got in there it doesn't seem to have left any big scars above. These are very well preserved. We even have brain tissue still in them. It's all been covered in diatomaceous earth. Like these tombs are in diatomaceous earth mines, so everything's covered in this desiccant, the drying agent. It's all perfectly mummified. So
maybe we think that because we have a bias of, old things mean it's rudimentary. But maybe back in the day, I mean, maybe they did know how to do it, and they did it with some skill and technique.
I love how
we built the pyramids.
All right, so now we're going to take it one step further and show why this is definitely aliens. If you look at the Y chromosome, you can trace the holotype, the actual tree of life, ancestry of all humans. You can trace the lineage of fathers with the Y chromosome. You can trace the lineage of mothers with the mitochondrial DNA. So we can trace those two and say, what ethnicity are the human aspects of these mummies?
Yeah.
And we see the mother was from Myanmar and the father was from China.
Okay. And? So,
1,500
but they're not aliens.
1,500 years ago, a mother in Myanmar and a father in China somehow had children in Peru.
The mummy is in Peru.
The mummies are in Peru. And this is just one sample from one mummy. So they haven't released the full data. Apparently there's a huge paper coming out regarding all of the genetic data. But just looking at, they have 3 samples on the government website. You can trace them back to Southeast Asia.
Okay.
The human aspects of these mummies, the mitochondrial and Y chromosome DNA that does match humans.
But isn't another kind of I don't know how to say it, evolutionary theory, let's say, people crossed that one little piece of land over to the North American continent and traveled all the way down to Latin America.
Australia did it. Yeah, New Zealand.
And maybe seafarers, people must have.
There's yams found almost all the way to New Zealand. Somehow.
Yes. And nobody knows how yams got there. Yes, that I know.
Mm-hmm. There was definitely mixing, but at the same time, we didn't see yams over in Myanmar, near Thailand, farther than Thailand.
True.
Somehow,
but maybe people travel a long distance. So how that person? I don't know. Someone traveled. They had nothing better to do.
I don't know.
Like,
did you get there in a lifetime? I guess if you
got nothing. I play video games. I got nothing better to do.
Sure, maybe it was some woman that, like, from a child, she was sent. You will go halfway around the earth. We've heard there's far away.
So, well, then how did that person get there? You're saying it was an alien and they were sent in a spaceship.
It's weird that somebody could get there without mixing genetically. That would be somebody who's dedicated their life to getting
that makes
far.
sense to me. Like, it's weird that somebody would get there without genetically mixing beforehand, because it's so far to travel.
That
is it possible
over there?
Is it possible they were in a boat?
If somebody really set off from Myanmar, I
know
they could do it. It's hard to say what was going on in 500 AD. In terms of the Pacific, we weren't really aware of what's going on with South America back then. But genetically, they're very distinct from the rest of the population. So if that person did go, they went there to make aliens and nothing else, because those genes aren't in South America.
Literal aliens.
I mean,
not space, not space aliens.
I didn't say space. I'm saying these things are from the ocean.
Myanmar. Yeah, wayfarers.
There's definitely stuff under our ocean that they're called USOs, but they become UFOs when they start flying above, and they go between water and air like it's nothing. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I've seen videos of like fighter jet footage of these things that go into water.
Mm-hmm. And so we have multiple sources of data: radar, FLIR, that's IR, human, all seeing the same thing. And you say, "Is it real?" And you're like, 3 sources all saying yes at the same spot. Something physical is there.
Yeah, okay.
And then Men in Black come and remove all the footage, and it takes a decade for that to come back out.
I still don't.
So then why? Yeah. So why did America release all this stuff then? What's the motivation? Just like whatever, it's not a big deal.
It seems like there's 2 camps in the disclosure movement of these whistleblowers. One camp says that aliens first appeared in Magenta, Italy, 1932, with a crash. 1934.
Okay.
Magenta, Italy, there was a crash, and it got reported to the Vatican. Vatican took the crash and actually back-channeled it to the United States. We went and picked it up during World War II, and that supposedly kicked off our program. That's their story. The other story is that they've been here the whole time, and this other group is just trying to point out they're the good-hearted. I just want to disclose the truth to the public. But yeah, these people that are saying that it all started in Magenta, Italy, are kind of pushing towards a narrative of, we have to fight them. We must develop a technology. They're dangerous. We need more funding for weapons and defense. It's that kind of narrative. So there's 2 camps, one that just wants disclosure and one that wants to get in front of it for more funding.
Yeah.
But it's pretty obvious what's the truth.
What's the truth? I don't know. Okay, tell me what the obvious truth is.
Of the 2. It's pretty obvious that this isn't just a new phenomenon.
Oh, okay.
So you can cut through that bullshit pretty easily. Yeah. But yeah, some of these whistleblowers are saying that, and it's interesting seeing these 2 camps.
I don't know, the Vatican.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
the Vatican.
I mean,
that's weird to me.
They write the ultimate story of all their primary sources, but if you have a PhD in religious studies, you're allowed down into the archives where you can read the truth. And there's a really awesome author, Diana Welsh Pasulka, who does a lot of talks. That's how I learned about the miracle of the sun. She's got 2 books out on religion and aliens and how they're not the same thing, but they are intimately related. You can think of aliens as part of our tree of life, their biology, but then there really are angels and demons. And that's the main reason that disclosure is not happening in our military, the United States military. A lot of the top generals say it will bring the apocalypse upon Earth when people find out about it.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There are angels and there are demons.
Hold up and step back. Yeah, apparently.
This is what they say.
And of course, this information is found in the Vatican.
No, this is what I was just connecting the two. The generals, like the main gatekeepers of disclosure in our military industrial complex, are saying a lot of them are devout Christians and say that that disclosure of this information will bring about the apocalypse.
Like it's like ordained. Like if you tell them, it's gonna happen because it's mystical and it's like an incantation.
Yeah, like if everyone learned that you could do witchcraft, imagine the chaos.
Oh yeah, I am a fan. That'd be real fun,
right? So let's not let that. Like we banned the anarchist cookbook from public libraries.
But that to me, that's also a reason. Like, here's the thing about conspiracy, which is what this is that when you try to disprove it, you can't. It becomes all the more powerful in its conspiracy. So they're saying like, don't do it because if we do it, it's going to happen. So you can't do it. Well, then of course you can't do it.
That was me spitballing. That was my interpretation of it. Like if people find out the true nature of their abilities, like it would just what is the role of the government? The government seeks to preserve the stability of society, keep things going. And, if we have to swat a few things out of society like nukes, just not have that, let's just not go that path, then so be it. That's what the government does. They have to do that. And we can't really blame them for keeping disclosure from happening because it will cause some level of chaos.
Wait, isn't the government's job to serve the citizens?
If we demand it, they should. But no one's really demanding it. There are a few bills passed.
I guess it kind of goes without saying, I think, though. I think by default, I think people are under the impression that, ideally the government is to serve the people, to keep order so we can all live in harmony together.
Yeah.
Right.
But, they're not made aware of the facts. So that's why I think this disclosure bill, the one that started in COVID times and continues to this day with the UADP and UADP2 Act, they keep trying to pass disclosure acts. Just lay it on the table and let the people decide. Just lay the table. We don't need to hear any more whistleblowers. Just make it public, like claim eminent domain over these reverse engineered patents. Let us see them.
Right. Yeah.
And that's been shot down twice by Mike Turner. One congressman or senator, has been shooting it down every time. He also, his district contains the Air Force Base where all the reverse engineered craft go. He's the one, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Yeah, he's the congressman or senator of that congressman. Yeah, congressman of that district. But he got kicked out by Trump. So apparently there's some disclosure happening, and they're just trying to figure out how to do it.
You think Trump doesn't want us to know about aliens?
This disclosure movement, the current disclosure movement, started during Trump's first presidency. How related it is, I'm not sure. But that's when 2017 is when the New York Times front page article came out detailing New York Times detailing the crash retrieval program, the bodies, reverse engineering techniques. Like it's all there.
I think Trump doesn't want it because it would make him look absurd. Because he thinks there are some people, most people think the idea of aliens is a little silly.
So silly.
So he's not, which makes no sense. It's a paradox for Trump because Trump, I think,
what's not silly?
It's kind of out there.
The technology that comes with it.
No. Yeah, I agree. If there is technology,
there's a battle going on right now, and it's what do we do with these patents? So certain companies have been given an advantage. Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, they've been given the secret contracts from this black budget program to reverse engineer this tech. And not even the full CEOs don't know about this happening within their business. Yeah, it's black the whole way through. And what do we do with this once disclosure happens? Are we going to allow people to sue for unfair advantage these companies? What do we do with the patents? So there's two camps: eminent domain, give it to the public, or sell it off to a bunch of private subsidiaries like Silicon Valley and Palantir. That's currently what's going on right now, and it seems like they're trying to shuttle it off to companies like Palantir. Silicon Valley's got Mike Pence's ears and balls, and so he's kind of listening to them, and so Trump's right there.
Yeah. So so you're saying people, once they find out, they're going to try and sue the companies because the companies knew something they didn't?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it was funded by taxpayer dollars.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but could they really?
Yeah,
go ahead.
You could easily do antitrust on that. That would be an easy antitrust, and anyone who could get blood off of this amazingly lucrative contract is going to get blood. Lawyers would love this. So yeah, part of the UADP legislation is how to go about doing it, and that kept getting strict. Yeah, there's a lot of battles going on right now, and I haven't heard the latest. I haven't heard about the UADP 3 coming out anytime soon. It's been over a year and a half, so. Trump did make a task force, shook up the FBI, fired a bunch of people. Some of them were on the UFO task force and started complaining, wow, well, I guess if I'm fired, I'm going to start talking about it.
Okay, that I could believe. But maybe Trump fired them because he thought it'll waste of money. It's all silly. And those people thought, okay, well, now I'm going to tell the truth. But everyone thinks that's so absurd.
That's the problem. Disinformation has been so effective that now that the military is trying to get it, or the military's realized that they've had this cancer growing within them and internationally for so long, and now they're trying to get ahead of the disclosure of it by hey, maybe we can get some more funding by saying they're the enemy. Get any kind of benefit you can out of the inevitable because it's happening. It's hit critical mass.
Right.
There's the Saul conference that happens at Stanford every year where Ivy League professors and top military officials get together and talk about timelines of disclosure. I'm talking professors from Harvard and Yale with the top chiefs of the top meteorologists of the top climatologists of the Navy, heads, the people that deliver the reports to the president every morning. These people are all meeting at Stanford and talking about this. So you can listen to their conversations and see the direction we're going. Do you believe that's happening? I don't know where the disconnect is between these events that are occurring and but maybe it's fake. What are what are they doing?
Why wouldn't it be?
They're busy people. Why would they all
get
together?
I want to know who these professors are. What do these professors teach? What faculty do they belong to?
I want to know too.
Avi Loeb's professor of astronomy. Gary Nolan, professor of immunology. He's an immunologist. He's got samples.
Okay.
They both got samples. They got some Nazca mummies. Some of the congressmen have met with the researchers from Peru regarding the Nazca mummies. People are taking this
serious. Nazca mummies. Listen, I think those Nazca mummies are fake. I think it's been disproven. Nazca mummies. I'm looking that up.
Of course.
Nazca mummies.
Hey, Google, tell me what to believe.
But that's the thing. No, see, there you go. That's the thing about conspiracies. You go, Google's fake. Oh, the more you if you try, I don't know how to say it.
Wouldn't it be conspiracy better to have primary source data instead of seeing what Google says?
Well, I'm saying I'm looking at
how do you know that
sources
it's corroborated?
That's true.
So they live streamed the entire procedure. You could watch it happen. The CT scans, the DNA extraction, you can watch them do the entire process. And then it's on the government website, U.S. government website, NIH. You can download the raw reads, do the analysis yourself, which I did last semester for my project, and see what's going on. See for yourself. Instead of saying, Google, is this true? Because it won't tell you. Google's not going to tell you.
It's going to say things like they're made up. They're created.
Yeah, of course. Because that preserves public stability, and that's the goal.
I'm about to say again, then now that just sounds like conspiracy.
No,
What do you
I
mean
like
conspiracy? That's
I
a
have
job
some
itself.
Greater
experience with this.
conspiracy.
Actually, because
Okay,
nobody
go.
like every bigot believes trans people don't exist, right? And
All right. Yeah. Fair.
So when you say like these things are happening, it's hard for me to wrap my head around, but I'm trying to keep an open mind for it because I haven't seen that evidence. So I don't want to just go,
Right.
oh, no, this is not a thing. It's hard for me to believe. Like, yeah, it blends the field of conspiracy, but then you get people that say we haven't been to the moon, right? So their perspective must be the same as mine is right now about this. So
the thing
yeah,
about
that's where
things like these Nazca mummies is that like people have looked at them and said, you know, they're made from like animal bones, you know,
Yeah,
glued together.
they've been like constructed.
I've heard from many
Yeah.
people. These samples have been sent to researchers in University of Edinburgh, in Virginia, here in the States, in Japan, Stanford, and they've all been deemed authentic. The Peruvian government just came out in February saying these are authentic organisms. So who was they when you say they?
Authentic. Okay, I'm talking about like, you know, whatever news media outlets. But when they say, oh, these samples are authentic, what samples are they being sent? Authentic how? How can you have an authentic alien? You have no point of reference.
The Peruvian Congress looked at the actual mummies and said they were unmolested organisms. Okay, they don't show no signs of cuts or fabrication anywhere on their bodies. They are authentic organisms. Whatever they are, the statement says, go look it up. I mean, it's going to be
shenanigans. And this is, listen, Latin America's full of corruption. I don't know if I can believe the government there. Why would they say that? Maybe Peru, a pretty poor country, needs the tourism. Imagine.
I can give you that. Sure.
Imagine, come to Peru where aliens landed. Wow. Well, there's a tourist industry. They're going to get some money.
No,
but I don't know.
Hey, I'm not 100% aliens either, because that's not how science works. You can't just, unless you've actually seen it, unless aliens like stand up there.
Okay.
But even then, it's like, oh, is somebody causing an hallucination in me? Maybe. Like, it's really hard to say 100%. Let me just feel that. Yeah, okay, that's an alien. Sorry, was that rude for your culture?
I want to believe. I want to believe so bad. Just like I want to believe in ghosts. Man, so fun.
Listening to some of these stories,
they try and kill you.
Like Chernobyl, so there's a very common thread among sightings. They always seem to appear around nuclear radiation.
Okay.
Chernobyl, Fukushima, nuclear weapon testing, where we're mining it, refining it, manufacturing it.
Yeah.
It follows a timeline as we develop these technologies. Yeah.
Right. Wait a minute. Okay, you said Fukushima. Didn't we also have a debate about that years ago?
Whether there was
Fukushima.
Yeah.
The videos of spaceships in Fukushima, like UFOs in the sky.
There's a lot.
And it was just a matter a matter of perspective. It was a matter of perspective. What people thought were UFOs was just like the sea sea level, and you saw the boats in the water, but it was so dark it looked like the sky, so people declared those were aliens.
Perhaps.
And they said, oh, that's a spaceship.
Perhaps we can debunk one source, but if you look at the source, if you look at the hundreds of thousands of sighting sources, encounters and sightings, you can start to see patterns. And one thing is, they seem to be swatting radioactive technologies out of our hands, like bad toddler, put down that knife. They seem to just be taking care of Earth. That seems to be the common thread. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That makes it like I really love the benevolent idea, like caretakers of the galaxy. Like
that assumes aliens are benevolent.
Yeah.
At least one.
I would like to assume that. I try to assume that everybody is benevolent until proven otherwise.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
In a perfect world.
Yeah. I mean, if something really is benevolent, it would leave us alone. It wouldn't even bother coming.
It makes more sense for me for something to be hyper intelligent and waiting for, like the Star Trek idea of when you reach a certain level of society. In Star Trek, it was FTL drives. Once that happens, then you get introduced into like this galactic order. Yeah. And if you're close enough, you might have caretakers, but they have like a non-interference policy, right? Or a secrecy policy, whatever it might be. What I find kind of hard to understand is if they are all of that, why are their spaceships crashing? How does that happen?
Yeah,
well, like,
right. Back to that hard question. Yeah, it seems like they're donating, and sometimes,
that's the other thing.
They seem to always crash in certain areas, like Arizona, New Mexico, and those are areas with gravitational anomalies. Earth is not even gravity all the way around it. There are wells, like around India, where it's really low gravity, and that seems to throw them off. And those areas seem to have crashes more often.
Now, well, why not crashes then? Why not crashes with just regular aircraft from Earth? Or does that happen?
Yeah, they've crashed into. They seem to get really close. There was one story of a Japanese airline just flying between. It's just passing Alaska, going into Siberia. Like it was bigger than a semi truck, wide UFO flying right next to it, and it just went right in front of the cockpit window, so that it was just completely blocking all sight.
Why?
The pilot and co-pilot just shat their pants. What was it doing?
Why?
I don't know. It flew away. It flew away after that.
But why would you do that?
I don't
understand. Why would these aliens do that? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's weird. What are they doing?
Makes no sense. Yeah, we need to go on to the next topic. We need to hear Luigi's prompt.
Yeah.
But my topic wasn't aliens and stuff. It was all about conspiracy and aliens.
Was not aliens was my topic.
Aliens was your topic?
Yeah.
No. Mine was I said he mentioned aliens and that was the thing. I said that's why I brought him on. Actually, mine was this is all bled together. But I knew we were going to talk about aliens at some point. Mine was about conspiracy in general.
Conspiracy in general.
Like conspiracy.
Yeah, explain why I think the government's doing it. Well, also that any entity wants to preserve itself, so even that program started out with just the crash from Magenta Italy, and probably started out with Magenta Italy. And it just wanted to preserve itself in its funding ever since. Like you don't want to see everyone get fired and go on to do different things.
Why would they get fired though?
If like disclosure came out, or that's pretty much.
But I don't. Who would get fired for disclosure is my question.
Well, everyone involved in this, like what's going to happen to the government employees who are complicit in this? Because there's definitely people in the government.
The same kind of stuff that happens to employees that are complicit in anything. If it's bad and they get out, I guess they'll get fired. But what happened to the people?
It's super compartmentalized. So like each person's only given the tidbit of info. It's like a little bit of truth surrounded by a candy coat of misinformation. Candy coat of truth, and then like a big nugget of misinformation. Like, and each person only knows what they need to know. There's a few people, a small group that knows everything, and then they compartmentalize this thing so no one can piece it all together. So a lot of people are going around spitting their version of the truth. They have some of the knowledge, but a lot of it wrong.
Do you think that the presidential suite, the Oval Office, knows the truth?
A few presidents have been briefed. Eisenhower,
not all of them.
Kennedy, Obama, and Trump. Oh, and Bush was still. Okay. Yeah, Trump's been told.
But this is probably just like stuff they have to do. Like it's on the checklist. Oh, Mr. President, we've got the alien guys.
The rest
they're just going. Oh, all right, bring him in.
I think Reagan knew, but I don't think he was briefed. Oh, Woodrow Wilson. Yes, the Wilson Davis memo was very famous.
Okay.
Wilson Davis memo.
What about the Rothschilds? What about the Rothschilds?
Wilson Davis memo has got a lot of juicy info.
They know. Did Nathan Rothschild know about aliens?
Probably. I mean, why wouldn't they?
How many other governments know about aliens and talk about aliens? Is my question.
That just goes to show you how compartmentalized our news cycles are. France has already admitted it. They've released all their UFO files. Brazil's released them. China's done it.
I'm looking it up. China's done it?
China's admitted they have a program.
They have a program. Every government has a program for like unidentified flying objects because it's an issue of military like safety, I guess.
Yeah,
You
true.
want-
Very true. But also, like, imagine the little disclosure programs that bubbled up over the last 70 years. You know, like, people caught wind of something smells off, and they're starting to dig into, and they're like, wow, there's something here. And so they develop a little faction of people who are like, wow, something is big and that it's unseen. We need to, like, bring this to light. And then those things bubble up and then get nipped in the bud. Bubbled up, like with Roswell, nipped in the bud. Bubbled up with the COVID relief bill, nipped in the bud with Arrow. Like these little programs keep trying to sniff out this larger international program.
But could that be like, nipped in the bud? Could that be, the government knowing about like just public hysteria and knowing the absurdity and saying like, this is bad and this is going to cause so much chaos, and it's just not true.
Catastrophic.
We have to stop.
Whoa, I don't know about not true. There's a there, okay? There's things flying in the air. There's people having religious experiences when they get abducted. There's time missing. There's radiation damage in these people. There's clear patterns of a physical interaction with something metaphysical.
Okay, all right, I guess.
So we're just trying to... The only thing we can do is look for patterns in the data. They seem to be cleaning up Earth. That seems to be common. They don't seem to be killing humans. They've been here longer than us.
Wait. They're cleaning up Earth?
So Chernobyl, there was a UFO supposedly appeared above it, shined like a flashlight type beam down on the radioactive core that was melting down, and radiation dropped by 75%.
Who saw this?
The surrounding firemen and people.
What was this called? I have to fact check this.
Chernobyl.
Aliens cleaning up Chernobyl.
So
no.
Steven Spielberg made a 4-part series called Encounters on Netflix, and one of them is about the Chernobyl and Fukushima events and how they seem to chase radiation.
This was a documentary.
It's on Netflix. Yeah, it's called Encounters. Spielberg's got all the deeds. He made E.T. E.T. looks just like the Nazca mummies. He's got all the deeds, man. He's got all the deeds. Got the fat deeds.
It's true. Which mummies look like the Mac and Me mummies? Those are the weird ones. My goodness. So much to unpack. I don't even know.
It's a lot. I've spent the last 2 years trying to put this all together.
I know.
I just defended my thesis last Wednesday. So it was the Future of Humanity class. He has one day where we talk about the Fermi paradox, and he goes through the 10 options of why we don't see it. And one of them, number 7, was government's lying to us. I'm like, oh, okay, I have something. And
do you think the government's lying to you?
I mean, ignorance is lying.
Ignorance is lying. No, I wouldn't say ignorance is lying. Ignorance is just not knowing.
But most of them are not lying.
I think to lie, a lie means like
intentional.
So
you're intentional.
The government as a whole is not complicit in it necessarily, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Most of them are. The vast majority.
Yeah. Okay.
So there was an incident where a craft went down just south of the border of New Mexico or in Arizona in Mexico.
Yeah.
And we had, apparently there was a quick call between generals in both countries. And Mexico said, we're getting it. But if there's satellite imagery of the Mexican special agents get in there and then putting it onto a truck. And then the next satellite image, you see all of them just laying on the ground. And a couple images later, the truck's gone, and so is the craft. Apparently, we got there. We wanted it. Like, we get tips.
It sounds really cool.
Brazil has so many UFOs. Oh man!
Again, why in
South America?
Yes,
it seems to be that nice strip of the Amazon. They like it there.
Because it's just, there's so much foliage.
Chill. But there was a 2-month...
Disappearing from beef farms. I don't know.
For about 2 months in Coladas, Brazil, there was basically an invasion where there was just UFOs there every day, constantly swarming around. They're called chupa chupa because they would send this little thing and suck blood out of people, apparently.
Chupacabra, right?
Maybe. Yeah. And then
come on. Now we're talking about cryptids? More conspiracy.
You can see
Are
why
cryptids real?
I think, you know what? I think, Ryan, I think we need to invite you on for another podcast.
Sure.
Yeah.
Focused especially just focused on conspiracy theories and cryptids.
Well, Ruby, what else would you like to talk about?
Sasquatch is real.
I want to be honest with you guys. I'm falling asleep here. I'm quite tired. It's not because you're bored. It's not because you're boring. It's because I'm struggling to
We're
keep
into
up
it
with everything.
I do have to give a presentation.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you don't come prepared with a question.
I can leave the room open if you guys want to keep chatting.
Let's continue it later because I do need to get this presentation finished. I haven't finished it, and I have to prepare an hour and a half.
Okay.
Fair.
Are you keen on coming again? Then I'll keep the chat.
Yeah, sure thing.
So I
Sure thing.
We'll try and be Ruby and I will try and be in the same room next time.
Yeah, that'll be better. I think. It'll make things easier.
Less
Anyway,
downtime.
yeah.
Sounds good.
You have a good day. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, me too. It was awesome. Glad talking to you.
And
Very fun.
bye.
See ya.